Here are 5 wellness trends I will never touch again, and what I do instead that actually supports my hormones, my energy, and my longevity. What looks like healthy on the surface can actually silently wreck your metabolism, stress your nervous system, and leave you feeling more depleted than when you began. Believe me when I say I have been there. Back in my 20s, I followed the trends, and I definitely paid the price. Now, as I approach 50, I lead with science backed strategy over hype and trends, and I'm sharing exactly what that looks like. There is a lot of noise in the wellness space, and even some outdated messaging that's downright dangerous to our health, especially as women in midlife. We are told to eat less, train harder, fast longer, and push through pain. But most of these strategies were never designed with our biology in mind. So, when I was younger and I tried to follow them, even as a wellness professional, here are some things I experienced. My energy crashed. My sleep completely disappeared. My stress spiked, and my hormones were a chaotic mess. And so today, I'm walking you through 5 trends I've left behind decades ago for good, and what I choose instead now to support real results that actually last. I'm turning 50 in just a couple of months, and I actually feel better than I did back in my 20s when I was following these trends. Trend number 1, rigid 16-8 intermittent fasting every day. What started as a metabolism hack wrecked my sleep and flattened my energy. Extreme fasting every day put my body into perceived stress, especially with the demands of a busy work schedule and training. Now, I fuel earlier and I fast intuitively, not rigidly. Wellness trend number 2, I'm leaving far in the rear view, is cardio, cardio, and more cardio. We all used to think that more cardio meant more results. Instead, what we got was cortisol spikes, muscle loss, and outrageous fatigue. Midlife in particular is not about more sweat. It's about smarter movement. So now I do my signature strength training programs like Bar Blend and LABA 4 to 5 times a week, and I feel stronger than ever. Trend number 3 to leave behind, low fat diets. Let's call this what it is: hormone sabotage. Your body needs dietary fat to produce estrogen, progesterone, and to support your brain function. I ditched the fat-free trend a long time ago and have been preaching it ever since. I brought back avocado, salmon, full-fat cottage cheese, yogurt, olive oil, all the things that allow my body to thrive, to optimize, and even improve the quality of my skin. Number 4 popular trend to leave behind is cold plunging right after training. Look, I love biohacking when it's aligned, but plunging right after a hard workout or when your cortisol is already high, it will make you feel more depleted, not more resilient. And here is some fun science for you. Cold plunging right after a workout, particularly strength training, can actually blunt your gains. So here's how that works. When you strength train, you actually create these microscopic tears in your muscle fibers. This naturally triggers an inflammatory response that is essential for muscle repair and growth. That post-workout inflammation is not a problem. It's actually the stimulus your body needs to adapt and get stronger. But when you jump right into a cold plunge immediately after training, you reduce that inflammatory signal far too soon. Essentially, you're shutting down the body's natural repair process, and studies have shown that cold exposure right after resistance training can reduce muscle protein synthesis and limit hypertrophy over time. Now, I cold plunge strategically, not when I need nourishment or recovery. I take that instead. As a woman, I also always plunge at higher temperatures. That is ideally 50 to 55 degrees as opposed to 40 degrees for men. This helps prevent hormone disruption. And surprise, surprise, we have different guidelines than men. I'd also recommend waiting at least 4 hours after training to hop in that plunge. Number 5 trend we are letting go: counting calories obsessively. The mental math, the guilt, the disconnection from my own body. When you trade food freedom for false control, it doesn't work. So here's what I do now and what I recommend for all women. Focus on how you feel, not just what you track. And trust your body more than you trust an app. So you might ask, what does work for me now? Well, I'll give you some of my top 10 tips that have worked for me as I enter this phase of turning 50 in just a few months. Number one, I eat within 90 minutes of waking up, and I always lead with a protein and healthy fat dominant breakfast. The protein and the healthy fats help stabilize my blood sugar, set my cortisol rhythm in a positive place, and give my body a clear message. You're safe and you're fueled and you're ready to train. Another thing I do is I walk daily and I strength train smarter 3 to 5 times a week. No more 90-minute spin classes or draining boot camps. I build muscle in a smart and comprehensive way based in mobility. I support my joints and I give my nervous system the space to regulate. Number three, I prioritize full-fat whole foods when I can. This is cottage cheese, wild salmon, which is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, avocados, nuts, seeds. These are hormone allies. They are not enemies. So now I nourish for longevity, not restriction. I also have learned to protect my sleep like a sacred ritual. 7 hours at least, ideally 8 to 9. No negotiation. I use consistent wind down routines, which I share on this channel, low lights, magnesium, and healthy boundaries around nighttime stimulation. And finally, I live by rhythm, not restriction. I eat in rhythm, I move in rhythm, I rest in rhythm. That's how I support my nervous system, my energy, and my goals, and how I have helped thousands of women live their best lives without burnout. Wellness does not have to be extreme to be effective. It doesn't require restriction, obsession, fixation, or biohacks that drain your system. It does require alignment. Alignment with your biology, with your season of life, and maybe most importantly, with your own intuition. If you are ready to ditch the noise and finally build a body and a lifestyle that feel good, hit like, subscribe, and maybe join me inside the Limitless Life Blueprint, where I can personally coach you to do wellness differently. Because this is not about following trends, it's about following truth. And not just my truth, your truth. And that is where real vitality lives.